17 doctors couldn't save the billionaire's son until a poor girl saw what they missed. The glass walls of St. Madison's private hospital reflected the glow of a stormy morning. Ambulances, security guards, and luxury cars crowded the entrance. Reporters whispered rumors, their cameras waiting like hungry wolves. Inside the VIP emergency wing, a group of 17 world-renowned doctors stood in silence, staring at the pale unconscious body of a boy no older than 10. Machines beeped around him, wires everywhere, yet life inside him seemed to be slowly fading. His name was Alexander Hayes, the only son of Richard Hayes, billionaire CEO of Hayes International. Alexander was the future heir to an empire worth billions: airlines, shipping companies, technology corporations. His birth had been front-page news. His illness now was an even bigger one. For 3 days, no one knew what was wrong. The billionaire's desperation. Richard Hayes stood beside the bed. His normally sharp, commanding voice had become a whisper. His expensive suit looked wrinkled, his eyes swollen from lack of sleep. "What do you mean you still don't know?" he asked the doctors, voice trembling. "You've run every test, every scan. We brought specialists from London, Dubai, Tokyo. There must be something you missed." Dr. Klein, head of neurology, exhaled heavily. "Sir, we believe it's neurological. But nothing shows on scans. We've tried anti-seizure medication, oxygen therapy, antibiotics. And nothing works," Richard finished bitterly. He looked at his son's small hand. Cold. Too cold. His wife, Audrey Hayes, sat on a chair, frozen like a statue. She hadn't spoken since the morning Alexander collapsed. She only stared, lips trembling, fingers gripping the cross necklace at her throat. The girl no one noticed. Far away, on the other side of the city, in a place where streets were muddy and houses leaned like tired old men, lived Amina Khan, a 16-year-old girl with dreams far larger than her life. Her clothes were old, worn, and patched. She worked part-time in a small diner. Her mom cleaned houses, her dad had died from an illness they could never afford to treat. Amina wanted to be a doctor, her father's last wish. But medical school costs money she didn't have. She studied every night using second-hand books and borrowed library lights. She memorized symptoms, diseases, medical cases, anything she could find. On that same stormy morning, she walked past St. Madison's Hospital delivering food orders for her boss. Security guards never allowed poor kids inside the private wing. But today, everything changed. Fate opens a door. The hospital entrance was chaos. Guards were distracted. As Amina tried to call the person who ordered food, someone bumped into her, her delivery bag fell, and food spilled on the marble floor. "Oh no, please, I'll clean it, I'm sorry," she panicked. A passing nurse saw her, frustrated by the mess, and mistook her for a volunteer. "You. Come inside and help move linens. We're short of people today." Amina froze. Inside. The VIP wing. Before she could answer, the nurse pulled her along. Suddenly, she stood in corridors she had only seen on TV, gold-framed plaques, elite patients, silent halls. She passed a room that was guarded by 2 security officers. Voices inside caught her attention. "What are we missing?" a doctor groaned. "It makes no sense. Fever, fainting, seizures, then coma, nothing matches." Amina's breath caught. She knew these symptoms. She studied a case like this last week. She shouldn't listen, but she couldn't move, the moment. One doctor walked out, pacing. He left the medical files on a side table. Amina swallowed. Her curiosity burned stronger than fear. She stepped closer, her shaky hands lifting one page. Unexplained coma. Elevated eosinophils. Skin itching before collapse. Unknown allergen. Her eyes widened. Allergy. Something environmental. Not disease. Her heart beat faster. She peeked inside the room. The boy, Alexander, lay motionless. Around his neck was a silver necklace with a strange symbol, a gemstone locket. She whispered, barely breathing, "That metal, zirconium-nickel blend. I read, rare allergy. It can cause neurological shutdown." Suddenly. A deep voice behind her, "What are you doing here?" Richard Hayes stood, anger rising. Doctors rushed toward her. I'm sorry, I just saw," I think he's allergic to that metal, she pointed quickly, terrified. His necklace. It's causing the reaction. Remove it, please. Doctors froze. That's ridiculous, one scoffed. But Dr. Klein frowned. Wait, elevated eosinophils, unexplained seizures, yes, contact metal toxicity. He rushed forward, unclasping the necklace. The moment it left the boy's skin, the heart monitor changed its rhythm. Beep. Beep beep. Stronger. But he wasn't awake yet. Get 4 antihistamine. Now. Klein yelled. The room exploded into motion. Nurses ran. Syringes loaded. Medicine pushed through veins. Amina stood there trembling, wishing she could disappear. Minutes passed like hours. Then. Alexander's eyelids fluttered. His small voice, barely air, whispered, "Mom." Audrey Hayes burst into sobs. Richard stumbled back, covering his mouth. The doctors stared at Amina, speechless. The truth emerges. Later, in a quiet room, Richard Hayes sat across from her. You saved my son, he said slowly. 17 doctors failed. You, a girl who doesn't even work here, saw what they didn't. Amina lowered her gaze. I just read it in a book, sir. Anyone could have. No, he interrupted gently. Not everyone sees what others ignore. He hesitated. What do you want? Money. A reward. Amina shook her head. Just a chance. To study. To become a doctor. Richard's face softened. He stood, walked toward her, and extended his hand. You have that chance. From this day onward, your education, your training, your future, I will sponsor it all. And when you become a doctor, promise me one thing. She lifted her eyes. That you will save others the way you saved him. Tears filled her eyes. She nodded. I promise. Years later. The graduation hall was loud with celebration. Cameras flashed. Names were being called. Dr. Amina Khan, the announcer declared. In the VIP seats, Richard Hayes and Alexander, now a teenager, stood applauding. Amina walked the stage, diploma in hand, wearing a white coat with her name embroidered. But she didn't walk toward the Billionaire family first. She walked to a photograph pinned inside her pocket. Her father. I did it, Baba. Then she wiped her tears and turned toward the crowd, toward hospitals, toward the world waiting for her. The girl who saw what they missed. This story wasn't about wealth. Or luck. It was about seeing what others ignore, about determination without a single excuse, and about how greatness can rise from the poorest of streets. 17 doctors had knowledge. But Amina had understanding. And that saved a life. Sparkle's moral of the story. True intelligence is not in having everything, it's in seeing what others fail to notice. Greatness can come from anywhere, sometimes from the one nobody expects.